Well, hello. We're here again, doing another show. It's all by myself today. Maggie's at work, or school. I think it's work. It's about 2:50, 2:49, 2:50 in the afternoon, and it's just me. There's gonna be, this is a microphone, by the way, for anybody who's curious. There's going to be some shows like this where it's just me speaking. And it could be anything in the news. It could be anything as far as like relationships or sports or stuff on TV or movies or anything of that nature. So we'll probably have like two different kind of shows. We'll have one where somebody comes on and actually sits down and chats with me about whatever they would like to talk about. And then there's others like this one where I'll probably sit down and talk about something that interests me, or like an opinion about something, or just sharing old stories. And this is an old story, that's for sure. This is my bottle, and this is the microphone. He is set correctly. Just want to double check. He is set correctly, so we're all good with that. You should hear me pretty good. Scoot him over just a little bit. So, and then this is my water bottle. I like to mix my water with some of that Crystal Light. Seems to work out pretty good. Because water, for me, it's like it's too bland, and it feels like it's a chore to like drink it. You have to. I always try to drink water, but it feels like it's like a chore because it doesn't really have any flavor. So I'll add some. I got some strawberry. I think I had strawberry Crystal Light. This is probably about, I think it's 28 ounces, give or take. And yeah, it seems to go down a lot better than just taking it just normal water. I'm always try to drink one of these a day, a couple times a day. So if you see this pop up, there's no alcohol, there's no Jack Daniels. I already had my coffee for the day, so it's just water. Just trying to stay hydrated. So if you see this pop in and out, that's what it is. So now put him over here so he's out of the way. So that's what he is. I got my Oki hat on today. I got a lot of hats I like to wear. This is an Oki hat. Oki 1907. I've been seeing a lot of these around. I got mine in a shop in Tulsa. And I've been seeing a lot of different colors and variations of it. It's pretty popular, apparently. I never saw it till I went and picked one up. And since then, I've been seeing them all over town. There's whites, blacks, grays, blues. There's one, my neighbor's got one in camo. I've never seen the camo one. So, yeah, got the Oki hat on today. I hope everybody's doing okay. I know things are going a little nuts right now when it comes to the world. And I hope everybody is trying to take care of themselves and trying to stay healthy. I'm just going to kind of leave it at that. There's a lot of craziness happening, and I just hope that everybody's doing well. I'm going to share a story that happened to me way back in the day. We're going to start rolling with it here in a second. And I didn't really know what to talk about up until about yesterday going to work. I know I'm trying to stick to a schedule and make a video once a week. I hear that's a key thing. And I didn't know what to talk about. I had a bunch of ideas coming through my head. And then it just kind of hit me. Why don't I talk about a moment where, because relating it to what's going on nowadays, people seem to be so upset and angry and down and depressed, and they're just in a bitchy mood. But seeing what's going on in the world, I kind of don't blame them to a point. So I was thinking about what I was going to talk about today, and I thought of a moment where I was kind of the lower end of my life, and something happened that kind of gave me some hope to keep pushing forward. That's basically what it is. But we're going to get into a lot of detail. So just kind of sit back, relax, get some snacks. I don't have snacks, but I got my water. I told you about my water, right? And I'm just going to tell you a story that I had in my life way back in the day. And an event that really helped me personally. So it all started. Let's go back. Way back. This is circa 2010. Can you believe that? Pre-COVID days? Yeah. But way even further. This is about 2009, 2010. And I was just getting out of the shop game. Can you believe it? Right out of high school, I was a welder. I was in the shop game. I was MIG welding, and TIG welding. I was certified with the American Welding Society, the AWS, in MIG 3G uphill. For any of you who don't know what that is, just Google it. If you're too bored to Google it or too lazy to Google it, I'll just tell you. It's basically you weld two bevels together. You got a gap. Usually it's about 3/8 gap. It varies, but I think I did 3/8 on mine. You weld it. You weld the root, and then you do multiple passes through the bevel itself, and you make it basically one solid piece. I was AWS certified at that time, and I was working at a shop in downtown. 2009. Yeah, can you believe that? I still got some of my gear. I got my welding hood somewhere. I think it's in the apartment. I'm not going to look for it, but it should be over there somewhere in the closet. And I was welding, and everything was going okay. I wasn't really happy with the atmosphere I was in as far as like the shop itself. The work was fine. The money was great, but I didn't like the majority of the people I was working with. So I decided, bad timing on my end, I decided to leave the shop. I decided to be like, you know what? I worked here for a couple years. This is kind of like my foot in the door in the welding world. Ooh, excuse me. I burp a lot too, so don't mind me. Oh, there we go. burp a lot. Excuse me. I clear my throat a lot. I burp a lot. It's just me being me. So I wanted to get out of the shop because I didn't like it there anymore. And this was circa 2009. So our economy at the time was doing horrible. People were losing jobs. People were losing their homes. The housing market was fucking insane. And I was still living at home. I was wanting to go further in my welding career. So I got out of the shop. And it was great knowing that weight was off my shoulders, because I didn't like the shop too much. I didn't mind the work, but it's just the people and the bosses. The working atmosphere was not the greatest. I didn't like it very much. So I took a leap of faith and I got out of the shop. And before that moment, when I was still going to school, we would have the Tulsa Classifieds out, in our classroom. And we would see all the jobs on the last page of the Classifieds. Manufacturing, grinding, CNC machine, plasma table, water jet table, all the stuff. Pressure vessels, manufacturing experience, no experience necessary, just sign on, we'll give you a bonus, we'll train you on the job. The whole thing. And we would see this back page of the ads, and we would just be like, holy shit, look at all these places that are hiring. They're bending over backwards to get you to work at their shop. And we would look at this and we were thinking, we're never going to be out of work. This is going to be great. If we go from one job or one shop to another, I know there's a lot of them that bounce around from one shop to another. And I was one of these people who's like, I just want to find a good shop and just kind of stick to it. And so we would look at the ads and everything. Well, when I left the shop, that classroom, circa 2007. So the shop I was with for about 2.5 years. That time I left the first welding job was basically the only welding job. There were no people hiring. there was nobody hiring. And it was kind of frustrating. Going through that moment in my life where I didn't have a job and I was used to working. My first job was cleaning carpets. Yeah, I did that for about a month and a half because I hated it. That's a different story. And then the next job, I was a welder. And I liked it for a little bit. But after leaving that shop, and with the hard times that people were experiencing finding work, it was rough. I tried to find work through anybody, temp services, trying to get leads of, I knew a guy who knew a guy whose shop is hiring in a local town nearby, and I'd go there to the shop and just like, hey, I'm here, I want to apply. If you want to do a weld test, I got all my stuff with me. And then being denied. I'd see an ad somewhere either online or in the paper, and it would be like, let's say it was online, it would be 2 hours old. Like it was put up at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm calling them at 10, and the position, the position's already been full. They already filled it. So that was, it was rough trying to find work at that time. So then I kind of got to a point where I started kind of getting out of the welding field. It was one of those times of I got to do something because I'm hungry. You know, I got to a point, this is probably end of 2009, in the beginning of 2010, where I didn't have money. I had nothing. Didn't have any money in the account. I was living at home, mooching off mom. I started like kind of stealing money to get food. It was one of those things. I was doing anything I could to get money, so I could eat. And of course, since I wasn't working, some of the money would go for booze. I didn't get too much into the drug shit, but I did drink more than normal. You know, go out a couple times a week or something and drink $5 all you can drink. I remember those. Thursday night, $5 all you can drink from 7 or 8 o'clock at night till 2 in the morning. And I was feeling like I was running out of time. I feel like I was kind of getting to the end of my ropes. My rope. However you want to phrase that. Excuse me. And I kept filling out applications. It wasn't just one of those things where I'd fill out one and then call it a day, or fill out one and then just wait on my ass at home for 3 months. I mean, I applied everywhere I could. I applied at like clothing stores. I applied at like retail places. I applied at like a dry cleaners, while still trying to get a job in the shop somewhere. And I wasn't really worried if I was gonna be a welder or not. It was just like, I'll be a fucking grinder for 8 hours. I don't care. I need something. And it was rough. I knew it started getting really bad when I would wake up 11 o'clock in the afternoon, 12 o'clock. Sometimes I'd stay up till 5 or 6 in the morning, and then I'd get up at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. My sleep schedule was fucking whack. And I knew it started getting bad when normally when you wake up, you're like, I don't want to get out of bed because I'm all nice and cozy. I'm all nice and warm, especially in this weather we're currently having now. You don't want to get out of bed. You're nice and warm. You're cozy. You don't want to get up. Well, I knew it started getting bad for me because there was a point when I would wake up, and it wasn't the fact that I didn't want to get out of bed. It was the fact that there was no reason to get out of bed. I didn't have a reason to get up. I remember waking up at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'd wake up and I'd be like, all right, what am I doing today? Like, I filled out 10 applications last week. I did another like 7 or 8 this week, and I'm not getting any calls. I'm not getting any messages that says we're hiring. You got an interview. I didn't have those. And I didn't have the need to get out of bed. Like I had nowhere to go. Just kind of laid in bed and just watched TV. I was at my mom's house. But still, it was rough. It was really rough. Didn't have a lot to eat. I was living off kind of a diet of like hot dogs and Pepsi, which is not the greatest diet. Just kind of lounge around in my pajamas on some of the days. And I would still go out probably a couple times a week to try to find somebody who would hire me. And there was nothing. Just, I was going nuts. I remember going up to random places and just filling out applications on like fucking napkins. Or like a blank piece of paper. And I'm like, are you hiring? And they would be like, no, we're not hiring, but we'll take an application. I'm like, all right, where's your application? Well, we don't have any applications, but just write it over here. Write it on this. And I'm like, all right. Don't be stealing my fucking info, but okay. It was bad. It was bad. And then I got on the news. Well, not on the news, but a website that does all these concerts. They tell us who's coming to town. And this was probably about the summer of 2010. And I get like a little notification, or however you want to phrase that says, Mr. Aaron Lewis. Side note, lead singer of Staind. He does a lot of country music now. For me, growing up, going through a lot of shit in my life, I fell on his music, and he really, his lyrics to songs really helped me through a ton of fucking shit that I dealt with as a kid and in my teenage years. It really seemed to help lift me up. I got a notification that says he was going to come to our local venue here in Tulsa called Cain's Ballroom. I love Cain's Ballroom. Had a lot of good memories there. He was going to come to Cain's Ballroom. And he was doing an acoustic show. So he wasn't doing his Staind rock show. He was doing his country music songs and some covers and things of that nature. He'd have a guitar. He'd sit there on the edge of the stage and he'd just play. And he was coming to Tulsa. I'm like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. I want to go. I guess it kind of worked out pretty well because one of my gaming systems at the time, it was my PlayStation 3. I had one that I bought with my welder money before, and then I didn't weld anymore. My PlayStation 3 crapped out on me. And I didn't really care too much about replacing it because I only had probably like 7 or 8 games, and they're okay. They didn't really like strike my fancy. But my PlayStation 3 crapped out. And I'm like, fuck this stupid shit. Of course it would fuck out. So what I did was I went to a place in town where you can sell your used games. And vintage stock, for anybody who's wondering. I love vintage stock. They got a lot of cool stuff there. I turned in all my games. And I got like $80 or $100 for it. Water time. I got like $80 or $100 for it. And that was pretty cool. I knew it's like, I don't play this anymore. I'm not going to play it anymore. Even if I had money and a job, I probably would not buy this again. So I'm going to sell it and get some money. And then I'll use that money to go to the show. Kind of lift my spirits up a little bit. So tickets were like $50, $60. So I had enough money to get a ticket. And I got a ticket. And I was able to go to the show, which worked out pretty good. I got front center. I have photos and I took video of some of the concert. And it's on the YouTube channel, kind of buried in there. I took photos of the show. That's all on my private Instagram and Facebook accounts. I don't know about Instagram, but it's on the Facebook. So I went to the show. Ooh, excuse me. I have a burp I'm trying to fight here. Excuse me. Okay. I think I'm good now. So I went to the show. I bought front center. It was seating. So I was literally like from here to, 5-10 feet away from Mr. Lewis as he comes out and sings on his guitar. And the whole show was great. The whole show was great. I loved it. This time frame was November of 2010. It's either the 2nd or the 4th of November. I don't remember the exact day. I think it was the 4th. I'd have to look it up. I don't know. But I went to the show. And it was great. Front row seat, nobody blocking me, sang a bunch of good songs, some covers. He played for like 3 hours. It was just him. There's no opener. It started at 7. He came out, sat down, had a shit ton of cigarettes, had all his guitars sitting out. It was good. It was a good show. But something was in the air. Something was in the air that night. I wanted to meet him. I wanted to figure out. I didn't know how to do this, but I wanted to go after the show to meet him. And I didn't exactly know how to do this. I don't usually go and meet artists after the show. Now it's like an art form because Maggie does it all the time with her new kids. And I've done it to a few bands since. But this was the very first time that I'm like, I want to meet this. I want to meet him. But I don't know how. So after the show was great. I got some merchandise at the booth, the little merch booth. And I got a t-shirt, and also he was handing out, I think it was like $10 or $20, autograph posters of him, like this. I'm not sure if you can see that. See that? He was handing these out. I don't know. $10, $20. I don't know. I had some money left over from selling the PlayStation 3 games, so I wasn't really worried about it. But I wanted to meet him. I wanted to kind of just take a photo. That was it. Like a handshake was, if I could just get a handshake, that'd be perfect. So I went and talked to the booth, the merch booth, and I was like, I want to, you guys got like a meet and greet? They said, we don't know, you might want to go hang out by the bus out back. I said, okay. This was before he started having like meet and greet packages. I know a lot of artists do that now because of the crazy COVID shit. Some artists are doing a virtual meet and greet. But I wanted to like meet him. So what I did was I went backstage. I didn't necessarily like sneak, through Kane's Ballroom, because you've got these big buff steroid guys with their muscles on top of their muscles, and they're not gonna let you through. So I went around the back. Their security's been up now, like a lot since then, but this was, this is 2010. It's a different time. So after the show, talked to the merch booth. I want to meet him. And they said, go hang out by the bus. We don't know. Maybe they have something back there. We don't know. We're just selling t-shirts. Fine. So I get out of Kane's Ballroom and I go around the back. And they got this gate that blocks the fans from seeing the bus. And the gate was open. And there's a car sitting there. And there's a guy sitting in the car. I don't know if he was probably not part of the band, maybe the management. I don't know. Somebody with Kane's Ballroom, somebody picking somebody up. I don't know. But he's sitting back there, right about where the gate opens. And I went up to the car and I'm like, hey, you guys got any meet and greets back here? Yeah. How well that went. How sketchy that sounds, huh? And he's like, oh, I don't know, but you may want to go over to that bus right there. That bus, right over there. And I'm like, oh, that's his bus. Cool. Yeah, thanks. I'll go over there and check it out. So I'm kind of like cautiously walking back there. And I'm like, I know like security can pop out and like fucking tackle me out of nowhere, but I just kind of want to shake his hand. That's it. I just want to shake his hand. And he was back there by his bus, and there's a couple women who were like flirting with him. I don't know, some groupies, I guess. And I was like, oh, there he is. I'm just going to go over there and chat with him and shake his hand, and, it'd be cool. And some security guy comes out of nowhere. He's a really tall guy. And he goes, what are you doing back here? I'm like, I just want to meet Mr. Lewis over there. He goes, you can't be back here. You got to leave. I was like, but he's right there. Can I not just like shake his hand or something? No, you got to leave. So I'm like, shit. Fuck. So I turned around and started walking out. I felt pretty defeated. I was like, damn it. Well, I guess I'll go home. I got my autograph thing, and he did a good show. So I guess I'll go home and try to find another job again. Kind of the same routine, just sitting at home, just waiting for work and some bullshit. So I'm starting to walk out of the gate, and there's a highway nearby, and I start walking underneath the highway. And these two other people, I think they were both ladies as well. Maybe one was a guy and one was a girl. Maybe it was two girls. I don't remember. But they start walking past me, and they said, hey, did you meet Aaron Lewis? I was like, I tried to, but the fuck-ass security guy, he was blocking my way. And she goes, oh, come with us. Maybe we can get by. Instead of just you, how about you all go? Like we all go together. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, what's the worst they can do? Tell us no again? So I come back, and I'm walking with two other people now. And, Mr. Lewis is still hanging outside his bus, smoking his cigarettes and shit, talking to other fans and whatnot. And we walked right up to him. He was just hanging out. Everything was fine. Hanging out by his bus. And the two girls, the guy and the girl, whoever, they go right up to him and they start talking to him. Hey, how you doing? Hey, good show, blah, blah, blah. The whole thing. And I'm in their little circle. And at this time, I look over and I see the security guy flirting with the two women that was flirting with Mr. Lewis the first time when I went up there by myself. And, Butler's coming in. Excuse me, 1 second. Hi, I'm doing a show right now, Butler.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Sorry, Butler came home.
Whatever, continue.
Okay.
Ignore me.
She says to ignore her. So I will. It's fine. She doesn't talk on this thing anyway, so she won't talk.
Whatever.
So, hold on. Say hi.
Hello.
Okay. So, I go over to the bus. She's making a lot of noise now. So I go over to
The bus.
Excuse you. Trying to tell a story here.
I know.
Do you want to be part of this now? Do you want to be a part of this now?
No, you're going to the bus. Bye.
So, I am with the group of like these two ladies, a guy, whoever. The two ladies that were flirting with him the first time was now hanging with the security guy. And I look over at him for a second. And he's over there. There's like two blonde ladies. And he looks over at me. And he literally, I'm sure he recognized me because we just had a square off about 2 or 3 minutes prior to this. And I look at him and I just kind of give him a nod. And I'm like, yeah, fuck you. Yeah. And then I turn back and Mr. Lewis is right there talking to whoever the people I discovered. And this lady, the lady that was like, hey, come back and see if you can meet him again. This lady was like giving him like, I don't know, like advice or like, hey, your music's good. Have you heard of this guy? And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, no, you leave him alone. You leave the God alone, because he's already great in his own light. So you just leave him alone. She's trying to share like musical advice or taste or something with this guy. So I went over and I gave him a hug. These ladies, they're talking to him for a little bit, and then the conversation died down, and I'm like, okay, ladies, get out of the way. It's my turn. So I just went over there and I gave him a fucking hug. And he gave it to me back. He was pretty cool. Shook his hand. I told him, that the show was really good, and everything turned out pretty well. I asked him if I could take a photo with him. And let's see here. I asked him if I could take a photo with him. And he said, of course. I had this little blue camera at the time. And I literally used that thing to death during the whole show. Because I'm taking photos and I'm taking videos. And I'm like, got that last little bar of battery in my camera. So I'm like, okay, I know the camera's dying. I just need it for one more photo and I'm good to go. You know, we can charge it at home. We can charge it at home. We can, upload all the photos and all the videos and everything. But I just need it for one more photo. Just one more. And of course, it's the most important photo the whole night. So then I handed it off to somebody else who was nearby. I saw him in line when I was waiting to get in the venue, and we chatted for a little bit. He apparently snuck back there too and wanted to talk to him. So he got the camera, got up in a pose, and I'm like, man, just one more photo and I'll be set. And that's it. And he took the photo, snapped the photo, and that's what I got right there. Focus. Hello? Are you wanting to focus? Do you know how to focus? You're not going to focus. That. Got that photo right there. And after I took the photo, he signed my poster. Now, he had it. He was handing these out at the booth, $10, $20. So he signed the front of it. Oh, I still got the ticket back here. Holy cow. I didn't know that. Oh, that's from a different show. So he signed the front and sold them. So you'd had it. Well, I carried it with me when I went back there. And I had him... I don't get this out very often. But not only did he sign the front, and sold them, but when I went back there to meet him, he signed my back. So, he signed the back of my little poster. So I thought that was pretty cool. He hangs out in the frame now. As soon as I went home, I ran out and got like this little $10 Walmart frame to kind of protect him. So, and he signed. This is another show. Back in 2015, because I didn't just meet him one time. I met him a couple times. We'll get back. We're jumping ahead here. Butler's distracting me. I did not expect her to be home right now.
It's 3:30.
She says it's 3:30.
You told me you were filming like 3 hours ago.
She thinks that I was going to be filming, around 3 hours ago, even though she asked me at about, what time? About 2 something when I was going to be filming, and I said about an hour, and now I'm filming in about an hour from that time. So anyways, so I met him and got the photo, got the handshake, got the autographs, and I was just ecstatic. I was just like, oh my God. Yes?
1:15. You should have been recording at
2:15. I've been recording for 45 minutes.
Okay, well, that's longer than this.
She's making this all complicated.
Whatever.
So,
Going.
I got in the car and I drove home, and I was hysterical that I just met my favorite singer of all time, personally. And I got photos, I've got autographs, and I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. I was like laughing and crying and yelling and screaming, and there's a lot of emotions going through that. And I felt like it was one of those moments in my life that kind of changed the course. Because with the 2 years of dealing with trying to find a job and trying to find work and trying to get money and trying to survive, meeting my favorite singer in the midst of this really kind of pushed me over, kind of like a little hump, kind of like a little kick in the butt. It's almost like the universe was saying, hey, what you're doing, you don't stop. You just keep going. Like, you're doing what you're doing. It's good. Just keep going. It's rough. I know it's difficult, but just keep pushing through. And it kind of, gave me some fire in the belly a little bit of like, okay, obviously what I'm doing is right. Like, I keep trying to go out and trying to do, the right thing, but I'm not getting anywhere, and it's kind of diminishing. And meeting my favorite singer in that moment of my life, it seemed to kind of give me a little bit of hope that things were going to turn out for the better. And then the following year, probably about 6 months later, through some persistence and filling out more applications, I was able to start working again. I found the job, they hired me, everything was good. So, yeah, it was, it turned out pretty well. So, it's one of these things where if people are going through hard times, I know the world's going nuts right now, but people going through very difficult times right now, it's one of those stories of, you gotta keep going. Don't give up. Things work out in the end. I know it's difficult, and I know that times are rough, but it's one of those things that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is hope at the end of it all. So you just gotta keep pushing forward, and that's really it. So seems to be a bunch of machine stuff happening outside. Our apartment has cut down a lot of trees, and they got the wood chipper out taking care of them. So that's, if you hear like a low rumbling in the background, that is what that noise is. So I didn't just meet Aaron Lewis just one time. I actually met him a few times. So I got this one right here. This was after I start working, and everything was going smoothly now. This was one when at Kane's Ballroom, and the security guy didn't want to put the gate down, being a jackass. So we kind of made do with what we had, and we just kind of took a photo in between the gate. We kind of did what we could. But don't worry, we made up for it the following year. We actually got to spend some time together the following year. And, typical Aaron Lewis fashion. Everything seemed to work out with that meet and greet. And there's another one in here. I wonder if it's in here. Bum, 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 bum. Where I end up meeting him again. Is that in here? It's this. Bum, 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 bum. Where I end up meeting him again. So those times were in here in town. And then, of course, my girlfriend and I went to Oklahoma City, and we ended up meeting him again, hanging out with him. So, yeah, just one of those moments. And then, of course, after that happened, and he signed some stuff for me. Oh, he signed some more stuff. This is a more recent one. He signed some more stuff for me. So, it was, it's one of those moments. I feel like it was a turning point where things were kind of down in my life, and that was kind of like the thing that really kicked it off, where it was like, hey, we'll give you some hope here, that there's, things always seem to work out in the end. It's kind of a weird thing, and I tell that to Maggie all the time, that, things kind of work out in the end. They always seem to work out. So just thought I'd want to share that story with you. I was supposed to just be here by myself, but Miss Maggie wanted to barge in and be all rude. So, but hey, we don't edit right now. We don't cut things up. We just start filming, and whatever happens, and we go with the flow, and that's kind of what you have to do. So, let's see, this is about 51 minutes going into this thing. So, that was kind of the story of how I met my favorite singer. I think we'll start now with this show, opening it up to other people that want to be on the show. I know one of my buddies wants to have like a wrestling talking show. I know somebody else, I'd talk to him about having like a football show. I know the Super Bowl is coming up, so we'll have like a little football show. I know somebody else wants to talk about manifestations and ghosts. Not exactly sure how that will go, but we'll sit down and chat about it. And my Marine buddy, he wants to come on here and just kind of shoot the shit, so we'll see how that goes. And yeah, just kind of go from there. So that's this episode. Hope everybody enjoys it, and hope to see you again. Have a good day.